We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships.
This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani. Glad to have you on this morning. I'm excited because it's a new day. I feel great. I feel wonderful, and I'm glad to be able to connect with each and every one of you. We want to know where you're dialing in from. Where around the world are you coming in from? The reason why I say that is because we have international reach. Actually, there's a couple here that flew in yesterday, day 1 for their private marriage intensive, all the way from Gambia, West Africa. Touchdown, had an amazing day. Went from morning to the wee hours of the morning, just going through things, unpacking things. And so I just had a conversation with somebody this morning from South Africa and so family here in the United States. We just want to know where you are. We're a community, we're growing, and we want you to help us do that. So before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let the people know that we're here. Share it with your community. So whether you're watching now on Facebook or YouTube, soon to be, I promise this week, Instagram, we want to get this message out, but just rep your city, your state, your country so that we can acknowledge you. We're talking about reviving the dead in your marriage. For those of you who feel like, you know what, there's nothing more here. We've lost hope. We've come to the end of the road. I don't know what's next. I don't have any hope for any future. Well, that's why you're tuning in today, so that we can delve into some things to give you what you need to take your relationship to the next level. Just a couple of quick announcements I want to give you before we get started, guys. As you know, prior to our little break, we talked about how we're going to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, June 2020 for an amazing experience. Check this out. I'll give you some details when we get back. We call this Couples Academy Destinations. You know, Danielle and I, for many years, have had the opportunity of traveling around the world to these exotic destinations. And so it's something that we've done as we've grown our business, as we've grown our ministry, as we've grown our marriage. And what we want to do is we want to share this with you. And so what that means is Couples Academy's Destinations, our first stop is going to be in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico at the Vedanta Resorts. The Vedanta Resorts is literally the one in that particular location, the largest resort in the entire country. We went last year with our family, had an amazing time, and we have so much in store. Keep in mind that it is not a intensive, it is not a retreat, it is a mastermind. We're going to this place for 5 days to, of course, experience all that the resort has to offer. There's many things to do, great food, great fun, great excursions, just an incredible, beautiful, eye-popping, eye-gasm location, but we're there to do work. There are many of you who realize, you know what, we want something more for our marriage, and we're going there to get it. What's the prerequisite for it? You would have probably have had to go through a private marriage intensive or a last chance weekend or some counseling sessions where we helped you deal with some of the issues in your relationship, and you're ready to go to that next level. Remember, we talk about the 3 phases or stages we take couples through. Stage number 1 is what we call the road to recovery. And that's when we're here to help eradicate the pain. That's why you come to a last chance weekend. Then you have the second stage, if you will, which is the path to fulfillment fulfillment. That's when you begin to experience the pleasure, right? But then the third stage is building your kingdom. That is when you tap into the power of your partnership. There's so many of you who have amazing gifts, talents, and abilities on the inside of you. There's things that you want to do as a couple, but just don't know how. You've been in this power struggle for so many years. What we're going to talk to you is how to turn you from a power struggled couple to a power couple, how to launch those businesses, how to launch those ministries, how to make impact on the world that cannot be erased. It is a mastermind where we come together and strategize. We have great voices, people who are running multi-million-dollar businesses, people who really want to impact and empower you for the next level of your life. And so more information will be coming about that. We'll have a page on the website where you can go for all the details. It's going to be incredible. That's the first announcement. The second announcement, obviously, is that the next Last Chance weekend is January the 7th through the 9th, 2022. We want you to register immediately. If I can make up a word, get in while you can. It was an amazing experience. I'm going to go to a quick a testimonial of someone who just shared their experience of this past weekend so that you can understand what this is really all about.
How you doing? My name is Steve, and I was an attendee with my wife at the Couples Academy. And, the one thing that I'll say that I took from this opportunity, this moment, is that it was the perfect environment for the restoration that I needed. Because the truth is, sometimes we don't even know what we need. And that's where I was. I thought I needed my wife to change. I thought I needed things out of her. And I thought I needed to bring her somewhere where she could find out how bad she was so that she could be better for me. And being in this environment, it really stripped me down to the most primitive state, helped me to see myself and the contributing factors that I brought to the relationship that caused us to have the issues that we had in the beginning. But the best thing about it is it didn't leave us in that stripped state. Before we left, we were in a restored, much more balanced, much more productive place. And our marriage has been reborn and revived, and it's because of the Couples Academy. And I would suggest that if you care about your future, if you value your marriage, then you have to come.
Isn't that amazing? He just said our marriage was revived. We're talking about how to revive a dead marriage. And for those of you who could not think it could be possible, the more you hear other couples who are in the same space that you currently are in, and the more you hear about how they were willing to do something different to get a different result, how they're in a place of just healing and restoration and on their continual journey. So listen, the Last Chance Weekend coming up January 7th to the 9th. Check out this quick video and we will get started. Be right back. Hey guys, Last Chance Weekend, 7th through the 9th. Just go to the website, find out more information about it. But I just want to welcome our viewers this morning. Kia, it is good to see you, sis. Kia. We did this Last Chance Weekend with Kia and her now husband. At the time they were not, but they recently just got married, went through the Moving Forward program, built a community within that 6-month program that we unpacked, and they're now married. It's so good to see you. Thanks for being back. JJ, Fedalina, LaShawn, JG, Ralph, Jessica, my sister Jewel and Gonzalez, my family, I love you. I'm glad that you are here. You're still connected. I'm going to get with you. Don't worry. LaShawn, Anita, Pam, the list goes on and on. JD, Sean, good morning, Sean. Good to see you, Sean. Darren, all of you. Listen, but let me just speak to those that never, ever comment, those that never appear in the feed. You've been watching for months. You've been watching for years. When we do these Last Chance Weekends, you come to us and say, yeah, we've been following you, but we don't really comment like that. We welcome you. We thank you for your commitment. You are part of our family. And so to the voiceless, to the nameless, to the anonymous, we love you and glad that you are here. Because you know what? We got to make this thing happen. We got to take our relationships to the next level. All right, let's jump into this topic about how to revive your marriage. I got a text from someone in South Africa this morning who was talking to me about the fact that, for some time they were in a good stride. Things were going well. They were watching these videos, and then, all of a sudden things kind of just shifted and fell off, and they're just not where they once were. And so sometimes it can feel hopeless. It can feel helpless. How do we get things back on track? One of the critiques that was made was, we watch all these videos, but you ain't doing nothing. I don't see no change. And I want to address that. Because I want to see, we're here every day giving you content. We have over a year worth of episodes that we've done since we've started, and we're going to continue to do what we do. We're going to launch more programs. We're going to launch more episodes, have more topics. But I want you to take the time to slow down just a bit. I've shared this with you before. I'm going to share this with you again because I think it's critically important. I'm going to read this slow. This is a quote that says that he that would perfect himself in any art whatsoever, let him betake himself to the reading of some sure and certain work upon his art many times over. For to read many books upon your art produces confusion rather than learning. So let's zone back in. He that would perfect himself. So you want to perfect yourself in a particular area, whatever that area is. Think about your relationship. Things aren't going well, communication problems, financial problems, whatever it is. Zone in on a particular area. Because when you zone in on a particular area, you have a focus. And focus simply means to follow one course until successful. Now, I have an incredible library, countless books, right? You can get lost in my library looking at my books, and it looks impressive to have all that knowledge, all that wisdom, all that information on these shelves. But do I 100% reflect the wisdom and the information in these books? No. Is it possible that I've actually read every single page of every single books on these shelves? No. The average American only reads one book a year. Did you know that? And they never make it past the second chapter of that book. And then they go on to another book. And then they heard about another book. And then somebody read another book. Or maybe it's a video and another show and another episode, and they're hopping and skipping and jumping and going to all these different places, gaining all of this information. But the reality is, the information you're getting, what are you doing with it? Is it making an impact in your life? Who cares that you have thousands of books, watch thousands of episodes, watch thousands of videos, if it's not depositing anything in you that is growing and germinating and manifesting into change and transformation? So I want to read the quote again and then work you through some things. He that would perfect himself in any art whatsoever. Perfecting yourself in your communication, perfecting yourself in your humility, perfecting yourself in terms of, just pick something, any art, anything, any particular thing. Let him betake himself to the reading of some sure and certain work upon his art many times over. You know what this means? It means, listen, when you find something that's good, read it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It's called repetition. Repetition is the mother of all learning. Now check this out, guys. Got a great book here. Don't have the cover on it, but it's called Give and Take. Got another great book here, Married Roommates, How to Go from Relationships That Just Survive to Marriages That Thrive. Great book. I got Fall in Love, Stay in Love. Great book. I got The Superior Wife Syndrome, Why Women Do Everything So Well and Why for the Sake of Their Marriages We've Got to Stop, Give Up Control and Return to Intimacy. Great book. I got He Wins, She Wins, Learning the Art of Marital Negotiation. Great book. I got When Divorce Is Not an Option, How to Heal Your Marriage and Nurture Lasting Love. Great book. I got The Proper Care and Feeding of Marriage. Great book. Of course, The Audacity of Marriage, 10 Principles of Lifelong Partnership. Great book. I got books upon books upon books. But who cares? Who cares? Who cares if I'm a quotologist? Who cares if I can recite from this book, that book? If I'm not implementing what's in the book, it means nothing. And so this quote says, let's go back. It says, he that betake to the reading of some sure and certain work upon his art many times over. For to read many books, like all the ones I just shared with you, upon your art produces confusion rather than learning. It would be better to grab a book and to read this book 10 times than to read 10 individual books. It would be better to listen to one episode that you've heard us give you 1,000 times than to listen to 1,000 episodes once. There was a story about a guy who was very wealthy, and he hired this monk who was a martial artist to live with him for a couple of months so that he could teach him a high level of martial arts. So the martial artist says to the wealthy man who brought him into his home, he said, "Show me your punch." And so he says, "Well, okay, what kind of punch? I could give you, a straightforward punch. I can give you a hook. I can give you this. What kind of punch? No, just show me your best punch," right? So he's standing probably 2 feet away. He's got a lighter in his hand. He lights the lighter. There's a flame there. And he says, "Give me your best punch." And so he gives him his best punch, and the flame slightly moves. And then he says, "Okay." Then he says, "You hold the flame, you light it. I'm gonna show you my best punch." The martial artist monk steps back 5 feet and gives his best punch, and the flame goes out. He says to the guy, "I'm not scared of the 10,000 punches you've practiced one time, but I'm definitely afraid of the one punch that you've practiced 10,000 times." It's in alignment with that quote I just read. It would be better to take a video that resonates with you and listen to it 1,000 times over until there's some type of breakthrough within you, until something clicks, until something registers. Don't you know that in marketing they say you have to show an ad or commercial 8 times before you get a person to move, before you get a person to do something? And every time they see that ad, or every time they read that book, or every time they watch that video, they're listening and watching with new eyes, new ears, new interpretation. They're able to gain some insight that they didn't get before. You gotta hold on to one thing till you get your breakthrough. We're talking about how to revive the dead in your marriage. See, the problem is you're not focused. You're not zoned in. You haven't stripped something down to the core essence. You haven't squeezed out the juices, the natural juices of a particular thing till it's bone dry, till it makes sense. And you gotta work it. You gotta work it. It's repetition. So the first time you attempt to do something that you're hearing in these videos, it may not work. It may not be easy. It may be difficult. It may be uncomfortable. You may not feel like doing it. You may want to throw in the towel, call it quits, give up because this is just not working out for me. But repetition, the more you do it, the easier it gets. The more you do it, the more you begin to believe in the process because you start seeing little elements and inklings of shifts and changes in your life, in your relationship, and you got to work that thing and work that thing and work that thing. I told you, if you know our story, one of the problems that I brought into the relationship is that I was very critical. My communication was horrible. I had to continue to work at that thing. It wasn't good enough to read a book on communication, read a book on intimacy, read a book on finance, read a book. How would that have served me? Because I would have still been in a horrible state in the area that has caused the most destruction in our relationship. So I became a master of a specific thing. It is better to be a meaningful specific than a wandering generality. So what is your struggle? What is your limitation? What is your vice? What is the thing that your spouse has been complaining about, that they're looking for some breakthrough, they're looking for something to happen, that you've justified, you've rationalized, you've just said, you know what, that's just who I am, it is what it is, that's who I've always been, that's who I'm always gonna be. But if that is the thing that is destroying the relationship, that is the thing that you've got to zone in on. And we're not moving to the next thing until we've mastered this one thing. When we've mastered this one thing and worked it, and then can begin to see some change, then we'll go on to the next thing. So stop looking at your partner. Stop getting them to just deal with your mess. Why should they want to deal with your mess? You know, doing the same thing will get you the same thing. Don't you want something different? Don't you want something better? When you're pointing the finger at your partner, there are three fingers pointing right back at you. Take a look at you. What is the one area of your life that you can zone in on? That dead place, that place that needs to be revived. Whatever that relational dynamic is, you're constantly saying, well, when he gets it together, when she figures it out, when she gets on board, when they finally come around, and you're in waiting. And the reality is, as long as you're waiting for your partner to step up, things will always remain in a dead-end place within your marriage. It's got to take someone to initiate the process. It takes two. Oh yeah, it takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two to make a thing go right. You know that song? That's an amazing song. But it takes one person to initiate. And sometimes the person who you're waiting to get up, step up, make something happen, there's nothing in them to want to do anything. So rather than waiting for them to shift into gears, you do it, because when you change the atmosphere and the climate of that relationship. And then all of a sudden, they may give a stab at it. They may try it. They may attempt it. They're starting to see something different here. Maybe this could work. And now they come on board. And now you got energy and synergy and flow and alignment, and things begin to happen because now you're in a better place. So I'm telling you, folks, zone in on that one particular area, whatever it is. For us, it was communication. Our marriage was dead. Well, let me clarify. When I say the marriage is dead, the marriage wasn't dead. Many of you think that you're in a dead marriage. Really, as long as you are married, there's proof that there's life in your marriage. See, your relationship may be dying within the marriage, but the fact that you're still legally bound, the fact that you're still in that house, even if you're separated right now and you're doing your own thing, you are still legally bound and you are in a covenant relationship. You have to understand, it's more than just a legal institution. institution. It is a spiritual institution because this is established by God. It is his first institution. So even though you're hurting and your spouse is hurting, guess who's also hurting? God is hurting because he's a part of this covenant. And as long as you're still technically married, it's not over. You don't have a justification to start dating other people, sexing other people, moving on, talking, date, flirt. No, you are married. Regardless of how dead it may feel, as long as you're married, there's life there. There's life. That pulse may be slow. You may not see any visible evidence of a pulse, of a heartbeat, of anything, but there's life there. And that life can be revived. I remember watching a movie many years ago. I think it was Pulp Fiction, and the woman in the movie overdosed, right? And she was just flat out, and she looked like she was dead. Like literally, they were panicking, like, oh my God, did I kill her? Did she overdose? And one of the characters in the story, he had to get this needle and he stabbed it into her chest, and she came to life. She revived. And many of you have been in a deadened place, and it's looked like, listen, there's no life here, there's no hope here, there's no future here. And sometimes you need to be shocked with the power of God's word. You need to be shocked with some information. You need to be shocked with an experience. And that's why people come here. They're on life support. It looks like there's no hope. And then they get shock treatment and they're able to be revived and transformed. But it requires that you have to do something that you may not be willing to do. You got to get out of your own way. You got to get unstuck. You've got to be able to try something different that you have no evidence of in your own mind. You have doubts, there was a sister who came down here. We fought through text like 3-4 days before the intensive because we were going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. She wasn't a believer. She was upset about everything, and the conversation shifted, and she made the decision. She said, I don't believe in this, but I'm gonna just come. Let's just see. And what they were able to experience in this weekend blew her mind. It helped to make her a believer again. So suspend your disbelief. Suspend the lens that you're looking through that keeps you trapped in the pain of your past. The Bible says that we walk by faith, not by sight, because if all you do is pay attention to what you see and to what you hear and what you're experiencing, it's going to reinforce your belief that it'll never get any better. But when you walk by faith and the possibilities of what can be, see, the more you begin, the reason why we share these testimonials is so that because facts tell. I can give you facts all day long, but stories sell. And you are won over by the testimonies of other people, because these people were where you now are. And now they're in a different place. And if it can happen for them, it can happen for you. Yes, I'm gonna, over the next couple of days, give you specifics. I give you very rich content about what you need to do and how you need to overcome. But I just wanted to give you an encouraging word this morning because somebody needed to hear it. Somebody needed to hear it. So I want you to sit down with your partner and I want you to listen to this again. And I want you to talk about it. And I want you to step out on faith. I want you to try something you've never done. In your fear, in your tears, in your scariness, whatever it is, I want you to just do it, because if you do it, you may be surprised of what's waiting for you on the other side. So guys, thanks for tuning in. We love you. Come back tomorrow as we go deeper into the conversation of how you can revive your marriage. We're going to be talking about the signs of what appears to be a dead marriage and how to begin to shift up out of that and bring some life to your situation. Love you.